Do 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 do. Da na 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 na. Da 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 na 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 na. Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies. Get it? Erie Canal. It's a song about a man-made channel. Anyway, welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies. Are you sick of Cowl gameplay yet? Well, I ask you, bear with me. Today, something completely different. This is a fair fight. Now, I have been very clear with you about how I prefer to play this destroyer, in that you will get boatloads of RP and Silver Lions for pestering smaller craft, and it is also the most effective way to win matches, because small craft win matches. However, today we decided to mix things up because, again, naval combat is a meta within the game that is emerging. It's not set in stone what the best strategies are. So to start things off, we used a technique that I'm very comfortable with, and that's long-range torpedoes. So we launched a spread of 10 torpedoes, anticipating where the enemy is likely to be heading, and then we also took cover behind this large icy crag, I suppose, and that is all to put ourselves in a position of being the second line of attack, but we're actively engaging the enemy by allowing those torpedoes to close range with the enemy, while we allow this aggressive Sumner to take the lead. And the Sumner class is a destroyer that I very much look forward to unlocking. It looks incredible. It looks like a lot of fun. It has a lot of forward mounted guns, which can be a serious advantage in naval engagements, because at a deflection of about 30 degrees, it's very difficult for the enemy to track you properly. The easiest way to hit someone, as again you see we're using APHE here because we're facing off against an enemy destroyer at range. Even at longer ranges, the AP seems to deal better damage when it does manage to hit those critical modules. It's a lot more reliable for punching through deck armor. And even though the decks of these vessels are not really armored, they do have a value that is enough to set off the fuse of your high explosive. And since the really critical stuff like the engines and the ammunition is stored at or below the waterline, a significance. Yeah, bye bye Guppy. She's talking on my cell phone. You are a cutie. Sorry. Since the critical components are stored below the waterline, it's really useful to use AP to punch through and deal some serious damage, as you see there, with a single volley converging on the ammo rack from that enemy destroyer and taking him down, the poor fella. As our 40s open up at targets that are now closing within 4 kilometers inside their effective range, we get some very good hits on that enemy early destroyer there. We set him afire, a fuego, which will deal some serious damage to him. We set another fire, taking out some engines and the transmission. These AP rounds are doing serious damage to the critical components of his vessel. So he is really hurt, so we decide to switch targets here. And that's because we have allies, and these enemies are not focusing directly on me, so that gives me a good chance to attack them. And once you've crippled someone, it's not a bad idea to switch to another target if you're not being directly engaged, unless you really do have a good chance to target their ammunition. And one thing about these earlier destroyer models, these 1939 models that you see in the American tree, and I can't remember the name of them specifically, It's going to take me a while to get the naval vessels' names down. One thing about them is they have lots of fuel, but they don't have a ton of ammunition stowage, so they're a little bit harder to ammo rack than, say, the Fletcher or the Karl Galster. And here you see we are being targeted by the enemy, and we've actually taken a decent amount of damage. And one thing that's really cool you can do in the replay is get a nice view here and take a look at absolutely what has been hit. And it's very difficult to tell with your little miniature view on the ship, and you can see we've been taking hits from high explosive, the outer hull structures, and we got a double kill. Very nice. We're up to 4 destroyers taken down now, as I think we actually got a few hits with those torpedoes, which are almost a guaranteed kill against an enemy destroyer. Even though it's not absolutely guaranteed, you got some pretty good chance. So it's hard to see exactly what's damaged in your little miniature view there, so hitting the X-ray button to take a closer look is helpful, but we just dropped some smoke and sailed directly into it in order to reset, you might call it a tactical reset, give the enemy the incentive to shoot at someone else. And that's one of the many things in your bag of tricks that you have as a destroyer captain, and that's one of the reasons that I absolutely love destroyers. We're trying to find a good target here for our high explosive, actually running low on APAG rounds, and I'm intentionally carrying less ammunition because, as I mentioned before, the Fletcher class has a massive ammo stowage area, and if you can reduce that a bit, it matters. Individual ammunition, to a certain extent, is modeled within this game. So if you look at, as I zoom out here, beautiful broadside action happening here. But if you look at my ammo racks, some of these racks are empty now, and that really helps with my survivability. Because the enemy tends to use high explosive, you're only going to have a few fragments coming down into your ammunition rack, and so the best course of action is to have as little ammunition there as you need to have. Now, therein, my friend, lieth the rub, because you need a lot of ammunition in these boats if you're going to stay in combat for prolonged periods of time, as you see. Oh, boom, he got blowed all the way up. That was epic. I wish that had been my fault, but that's okay. We'll go after someone else. And you can tell that we're spending the majority of our time in the long-range gunnery view. That is not necessarily the best course of action. I really should be checking to see who's engaging and what's going on around me, but well, I've already done fairly well with 3 assists and now 5 destroyer kills. That makes a huge difference, and you see that high explosive, it can do great things, as we did a critical attack to take down that enemy destroyer, but by and large it tends to deal the most amount of damage to the superstructure of the enemy, harming the crew, but not necessarily giving you those one-shot opportunities or taking down critical components the way that AP will. Now, why have I switched to the secondaries? There are enemy aircraft in the air, and I'm not really being targeted by enemy destroyers too badly, so I'm just kind of trying to pester them with the 40 mils, and I'm letting my main guns, as you hear, aircraft down. I can just mindlessly allow my proximity fuse high explosive to deal with the enemy. Oh! And that allied plane just gets blown up. Speaking of blown up, here comes a Stuka with gun pods of all things, and he wasn't even firing, or maybe he was shooting stealth, but not a whole lot of damage to us. As we start taking a little bit more damage, we'll just zoom out, and we actually manually targeted the Stuka with our 40 mils and absolutely blew him all the way up. I am just to gush a little bit now that we have 5 kills, 5 assists, and 3 aircraft kills, which is a very nice score. But again, you can do even more if you play dirty. But just to gush a bit, I really enjoy versatile vehicles. As a veteran player of War Thunder, over the years, one of the things that I've learned is that the more options you have in a vehicle, the more ammo types, the more different roles you can play. And we took a really bad hit to our Citadel there, taking down our engines and setting us afire. This is a fire that's going to take around 30 seconds to put out, which in a tank, that is a death sentence. So look at the damage that's modeled on our vehicle. But to get back to what I was talking about, versatility is key for longevity in a vehicle. If you want a vehicle that is future-proof, find one that can do a lot of things reasonably well. It's far more useful than something that has a god round or one role they can do really well. For example, the Object 120. That's a vehicle that has a god round. It has an absolute killer cannon. As we back into our smoke here, again, tactical reset. There's another thing we can do, by the way. But I still haven't purchased the Object 120, as good as it is at one thing, which is long-range sniping, because, well, it's just good at one thing. And besides the fact that I don't want to sit and snipe all the time, it's not versatile, which means that one patch could see it become completely useless, as aircraft are against the Fletcher right now, because of how good their radar guided high explosive rounds are for the main guns. I just get to go brain dead and watch things get shredded. But to bring it back around, versatility, vehicles that can do a wide range of things reasonably well, are more fun for me, and they're definitely more future-proof than vehicles that can do one or two things very well, but don't have that kind of multi-utility. The Fletcher has smoke screens, which, you know, all the destroyers have them, but it has a good amount of nimbleness to where you can back into a smoke screen or curl around and pull off one of those tactical resets that I've showed you a few times today. It has very reliable guns because of their good fire rate. The AP works really well against enemy vessels, and it will continue to work well against most vessels that are going to come to the game. The radar fuse high explosive just gives us 4 free aircraft kills over the course of the game. The secondaries are phenomenal at destroying light craft, as I've showed you time and time again. What does that tell you about the Fletcher? It might not be the best in any category, except it is the best at anti-aircraft right now. But it is really reliable, it's useful, it's competitive at doing just about everything. And that's why I've just fallen in love with this craft. It's not on sale right now, but it's for sale, and it is worth the money. Anyway, the premium Fletcher, the cowl, is fantastic, and I hope you like the camo we have there. And I just wanted to show you another face of this vehicle, playing fair, as it were. And I know that we were fighting against some much less powerful destroyers. The Clemson is kind of a wounded mule, and I saw a couple of those, and they just got wrecked. But you get into the higher class destroyers, and they're not horrible. And we were just in a perfect position to do well in that match. And it really came down to the tactics we used. Tactical reset by moving into your smoke once the enemy starts to target you, allowing your allies to sail in front of you as spaced armor. The most effective armor in the game is to have the enemy shooting at someone else. And using those torps, I think we picked up 1 or 2 kills with those, so that's just a free kill. We didn't have to do anything to do that other than to play the chess game and anticipate where the enemy was going to be. Spread those torps out nice. Don't keep them too close together. You only need 1 hit. And just overall good performance of the vessel. There's a lot that goes into long-range engagements with destroyers, especially once you start facing the larger vessels. But Gaijin continues to tinker with the mechanics of naval forces, and I think mostly for the better. I've seen a few changes. Fires take a little bit longer to put out, which is, I'm all for that. We got hit centrally, and it did some serious damage to our ship just by virtue of the fire that was caused. And I think that's fair. I'd like to have the opportunity to do that some more. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I got a couple more replays I'm really excited to share with you because I've been having a total blast with my new 6.3 American lineup. Here is a look at that, but I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.